Welcome to the Car Cemetery. There's this building right at the beginning that says, read the sign. Pretty creepy.
Definitely not gonna get murdered today.
If I would find anyone inside the building, he'll be shot or worse. This is easily one of the creepiest places I've ever been to. It's amazing to see what nature does when it's just left to its own devices. It's just completely swallowed everything in this junkyard. Good morning, adventurers.
Morning.
From another day in Sweden. We got up real early today, you guys, because we are making a long trip over to kind of a halfway point between here and Stockholm, Skinnskatteberg?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's the name of the area or the city nearby where we're going.
Yeah.
But on the way there was something really unique that we wanted to do. We found out about this car cemetery that's way off the beaten path, kind of in the middle of nowhere, just on the border of Norway and Sweden. Mm-hmm. We're gonna head to that and see what that's all about. There should be all kinds of old dilapidated cars from the 40s and the 50s, and I've seen photos of it, and the place looks super creepy and grimy.
We left in the cloak of darkness, but as you can see now, the sun has come up, and the drive is actually really pretty, although super winding through these back roads. Be very careful up here. There are a lot of speeding cameras that may or may not have gotten us for going like 4 over.
Yeah, we're gonna have a ticket from the rental agency.
So stupid.
But now we're minding the speed limit.
Yes, the place we're going to should be way cool. We'll give you all sorts of fun history and details about it when we get there.
We'll see you there. I don't know if this is the only route there, but we're properly in the middle of nowhere now. We've gone down to a 1-lane road. Some of it's not really paved. Lots of beautiful scenery though.
Yeah, it is really pretty. It was a completely gravel road until recently, and it's really easy to miss your turns here.
Yeah,
these roads come up on you really quick.
Continue straight.
This place is already creepy AF. We've already started to see a bunch of abandoned cars, and then there's this building right at the beginning that says, read the sign. Just kind of spray painted on. Pretty creepy.
Yeah, definitely not gonna get murdered today.
First things first, we gotta read the creepy sign. Oh, it's nice. Welcome. As the owner of this place, I want to set up some easy rules. This place isn't abandoned. Treat it with respect like you would in a museum. The houses are off limits. If I would find anyone inside the building, he'll be shot or worse. The lake here is over 100 meters deep, just for info. That's nice to know. Do not destroy in any way, disrupt this place. People are coming from all corners of the world to see the area. If you see anyone taking parts or the cars, etc., call me or send me a text message. He has his phone number here and everything. All right. I saw a picture online of this previous sign behind here, and it says that he set booby traps inside of the buildings, and if you're hurt or killed, it's not his problem. So we're gonna stay outside of the buildings. This guy sounds serious. What do you guys think about my new ride? This is Cherry. Isn't that a car term? People say.
Okay, don't even start trying to pretend like you're a car guy.
A little bit of time in the shop. This will be good as new. So there isn't really that much info about this place, but I can tell you what I have learned through a little bit of my research. 2 brothers started the scrapyard in the 1950s. One source said that the cars were left behind by servicemen after the war, and that's why there's so many old retro vintage cars here. But then another source I read said something about when Sweden switched from driving on the left to driving on the right, a lot of cars were abandoned. That doesn't really make any sense because these cars seem to be on the right driving side, not on the left driving side, but interesting nonetheless. There are estimated to be between 700 to 1,000 separate vehicles in this heap. That is a lot of cars.
Now, even though it is daytime, it is properly creepy in here, and you hear all this creaking and cracking. I'm assuming from all the trees growing in the cars, and then the wind blows and it just goes, but it just sounds like there are little people scattering about.
Sounds like people are a gang is gonna jump out at any moment.
And even though it looks like a bunch of junk that's not worth much, people estimate that there's actually $100,000 worth of, I guess, scraps in here, which is a pretty good amount, I guess.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it looking at it though. And yes, this is private property. It is not a public area or anything like that, but from what I understand, the owners just don't really care if people come around and take pictures as long as you're respectful of the place. As you saw on the sign over there, there's a bunch of old structures here. I don't really know what's inhabited, what's not, if any of it's inhabited. So there could be just people in there looking out at us right now. I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely, I feel like, have the windows open in that house to make you think that someone's watching you. And it's doing a good job because I am a little creeped out.
I've gotten into the underbelly of the scrapyard. You had to go through the mosquito gauntlet though to get through here. There are so many mosquitoes everywhere and I just disturbed like 100 of them. But check this out. This is where the real overgrown stuff is. Whoa. Dude, this one is almost completely gone. It's just become part of the earth. Ah! Oh man, I'm slipping and sliding in so much mud back here, you guys. Is there another way? I'm a little bit stuck and it is incredibly muddy around here, you guys. Oh, bring some proper boots when you come out here. Oh God, oh no. Look at my shoe. Oh, I'm getting so muddy. Ah, bugs. This is the way I'm going. Oh jeez. Get me out of here. Ah.
Your shoes compared to my shoes.
Oh my
this is
God.
what being careful does versus just clomping around. I've told him like 15 times, gotta step gently on the sides, and he just goes traipsing through. I'm loving all the trees growing through all these cars. It looks like a giant came and like threw it over the tree.
Yeah.
It's so hard to imagine that it's been here long enough for nature to become one with it so much. I mean, like, these trees are huge.
This is the coolest spot. We found this just, if you go to where the sign is on the building, just go left. And this spot here is cool because it's like mossy ground and trees growing through the cars. The cars are more dilapidated than some of the ones over there.
And it's much less muddy.
Yeah, it is much less muddy.
Maybe we should have started here first.
Yeah, but wow, check this out. There's so many old buses like this one. Look at the condition of this thing. It's insane to think that if this sits here long enough, it's gonna disappear.
Here we have a little glimpse into how amazing nature is. Look at the strength of this one mushroom, able to hold up the entirety of this vehicle. Oh, science, man. It's just so cool.
Look at the inside of this bus. It is just full of junk and trees and so many bugs. All the bugs. There's a bridge across this creek made of tires and old car parts. Seems really fitting.
Oh, God.
Wow, check that out.
We always talked about getting a bus. I think we finally found her.
This is our new home, guys. Let's give you guys a little tour of our new home on wheels. Check it out. So this thing has everything. Raccoons, tetanus, all kinds of other diseases, holes in the roof.
It's junkyard chic. It's a new genre. We invented it.
This is actually incredibly creepy. I would not want to be here in the dark. If this bus wasn't so old and dilapidated, it would actually be amazing for a conversion. But something tells me it hasn't run in a long time. The biggest question we have is just how they got all these vehicles out here. We were just wondering, how did they even get this thing past all this stuff?
There's so many ravines, and maybe there weren't so many trees back in the day.
Yeah, trees and rocks and you name it. Well, this place was more incredible than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I was super grumpy getting up at 5 a.m., but this made it worth it.
But if you come out here, give yourself a good 2 to 3 hours to explore the place because it is pretty much a photographer's paradise.
Yes.
And just so many cool cars to see, and it just seems to go on forever, everywhere you turn.
That's been the hardest part. We think we've seen everything, and then you turn a corner, and there's a whole new field of cars. It's wild.
But unfortunately, we have to get to the next place we're staying before 3 p.m., so we don't have enough time, so we got to hit the road. Well, my shoes are completely screwed. This is what I got going on. Oh boy. And I think some mud has seeped into my socks. Let's assess the damage. A little bit of a wet foot, but it's not muddy. Yeah.
Oh, God, look at your pants.
Oh, man.
Oh, no,
my pants. That'll wash right out. Tight to go pen. We're all set. All right, this is over. almost made it to our destination where we're going to be staying for the night. We've been just driving through the Swedish countryside, and it's been really nice. There's a lot of forest land with all different types of trees.
We have been passing so many tiny towns. We have avoided pretty much, or maybe there just aren't major cities up here, I think, but it just is very rural, very small town, and pretty much every house is a traditional red wooden house. There are a few yellow ones and a couple gray ones, but almost every house is red. It's really wild.
Yeah, I don't know. If you guys know, you'll have to tell us how everything got so color-coded. Is it just a thing that people do here in Sweden? I don't get it. But it's very cool because the houses all stand out in the middle of all this green forest land. It really adds to the vibe. We've made it to the place that we are staying for the evening. It is called Ecolodge. And we're actually going to give you guys a proper tour of this place in our next video, and make sure you don't miss it because easily one of the coolest places we ever stayed.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So it turns out that Mondays, which is today, is sausage grilling night here. So we have been invited to join a couple other people and eat some sausages that we are going to roast on a big fire pit.
Let's do it.
Tea, coffee, light beer, lingon juice.
You got everything here.
Sugar, tea bags.
The sausages are officially ready, so we are going to make our own little wraps. Very similar to what we had the other day.
Just a little.
Oh yeah, that's a good
on the
idea.
fire?
We're gonna pop the bread on the fire.
I made my little wrap. I've got my little salad, some ketchup and mustard, some little fried onions, and pickled jalapeno. And I went the lamb sausage because it just sounded so cool. I believe it's all local. Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's beautiful.
We've got some coffee here that was roasted on the fire. Ooh, it's still really hot. Okay, that's enough.
It's nice and steamy.
So this is just made by boiling water and putting the grounds in, right? Is that what he said?
And then you let them settle, and then you pour it out and drink.
Looks pretty dark.
Yeah. A little different than the lattes we're used to.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah?
Wow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It's pretty tasty. It's kind of a little chocolatey.
It smells really good. Oh.
Yeah, surprisingly delicious.
It is. It's really like...
I'll take that.
It is chocolatey. It's not bitter at all. That's amazing.
No, it's really smooth. Well, that was actually a lot of fun. We ended up just sitting around the fire and we were chatting about food and living in nature and all this stuff. It was pretty cool.
Another thing you can do besides just stay here is go out on these like safari-like adventures, which is what the guys we were eating dinner with are doing. They go out to try to find wolves and beavers and moose and all sorts of things.
You get to go out and just listen to the wolves howl in the forest.
Yeah, you do wolf howling, so you go and howl and they howl back at you.
But I think that's going to do it for today. We are going to go a lot more in depth on this place in our next video, so definitely check that out. We're super excited to show this place off to you. It's like I think I already said it, but it's one of the coolest places we've ever stayed.
One of the coolest. Good night, adventurers.
We'll see you on the road.